Hello, I'm Jay Carpenter. I am founder and member of PhoneWord Workshops. Hello, Randy. Welcome.
Hello.
Today we are going to do our first workshop for the PhoneWord Workshops Global Directory. And we're going to talk about how you might be able to create your own listing in the global directory, first and foremost. And to do that, it's a simple process. You simply submit a pull request to the GitHub repository, and we're going to go over this in the workshop. But it's a simple process, and this will allow you to communicate peer-to-peer without using the domain name system nor using the telephone network. It's a peer-to-peer connectivity that's encrypted and creates a whole new world of opportunities for what's next with Web 3.0. So Randy is also on the PhoneWord Workshops team, and why don't we just jump right into it? And I'm going to start screen sharing. Oh, by the way, I did want to mention that if you are a participant in HackFS, an event that just concluded, hackfs.com, if you participated in the event, you are entitled to 2 listings, one of your choice and one that's either reflects your current telephone number or one that is a random draw. And I highly recommend that you participate and submit a pull request or attend our next workshop, which we will be having these workshops every Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you miss this workshop, you can attend next week's workshop, and we'll be going over how you can benefit from having a listing in the PhoneWord Workshops Global Directory and how you can set this up from a technical standpoint. So let me screen share and okay, for the delay here. So here is how you can claim your listing. You submit a pull request to the GitHub repository, and you create your file in a similar way to the example dial-1833 Hollywood. So this is what we're going to go over in the workshop. I'm not going to go over this in detail, but what we've created is your global directory, and it's a decentralized global directory. So we asked ourselves, how can we take Web 3.0, which is about decentralization, and how can we move it to the next level? And what we found is that Web 3.0 has this tension between machine-friendly and human-friendly addresses. We have created something that can help those 2 different types of addressing methods become friendly with one another, compatible with one another. So in the past, we've had telephone books and telephone directories as a way to discover others on the public switch telephone network. In the Web 1 and 2, we had domain names, or we have domain names, which match a human-friendly with a machine-friendly address. But in Web 3.0, the decentralized web, we've yet to create such a directory. And that's what the PhoneWord Workshops Global Directory is all about. And this is the way it works. Basically, you can create, and this is your listing part, you can create a human-friendly listing such as dial-1-833-Hollywood, and you can pair that with a machine-friendly address like this IPFS peer ID. Here's our global directory. You can take a look at it on GitHub, and it's also loaded onto, or it's added to IPFS. You can see all the IPFS content addresses there. And let's take a look at dial 1833 Hollywood. So let's do a demo, and we're going to show how peer connections work, how PubSub topics work, and how you can create a connection list on a peer-to-peer basis on your local machine. So let's switch over to, this represents 2 Raspberry Pis that are running locally on my network. And we're going to focus on how to use PubSub, which is a way to publish and subscribe to different topics on the decentralized web, and use your global directory listing as the topic. So this becomes very powerful, and let's take a look at how this can work. So, and we're introducing a new function where as you create, and in this case, we're going to use, excuse me, we're going to use this topic, which is 1111 PhoneWord workshops, which is our identifier on the global directory. We're going to use that to create a topic, and we're going to be able to capture the messages in that topic in a file on our local machine. And others can do the same, and we're using this extension to create a file, and we're using bash scripting. Now that's a little technical, but don't worry about it. It will become clear as you use it. So right now we're subscribing to that topic. We just subscribed to it. And we're going to go down to this other Raspberry Pi and do the same, where we're subscribing to the 1111 PhoneWord workshops. Hit enter, and now both of these nodes or peers or Raspberry Pis are subscribed to the same topic. And we'll go to the first peer, and we will put this topic in where we're publishing. You can see it says PubSub pub, and we're going to publish this message, and it will go into that file. So, okay, you didn't see anything, but let's publish another message, and that's from Pi number 1. Let's publish another message from Pi number 2. Okay, and this is Pi number 2. Okay, now let's take a look at the file that we created and see what is in that. Bear with me just a moment. And so you can see, now if we do this command on a separate Raspberry Pi, you can see that we've captured that message. We've captured the message from the first Pi as well as the second Pi. And let's go to the first Pi, do the same command, and voila, you can see we've got the same content. Now this becomes very powerful, and I'm going to show you why in just a moment. So we've got 2 peers running in a decentralized way that have captured messaging content that's being sent around without a central server, without a central repository, none of that. And here's the next step in the power of this. If we quit this, and we also quit the second one, And now watch this. We can assure that we have the same content in two separate peers by doing this hashing algorithm. And there we've hashed the content in the second pi, and we can do the same thing with the first pi. And voila, you see, we can be sure that each node in this chat network can be sure that their nodes are agreeing on what's been said in this channel by doing this hashing algorithm on the stored content in that file. So that shows you the power of this platform. And what this means is everybody in the decentralized web can now start communicating and having a cryptographic assurance that what they're communicating is both captured as well as cryptographically assured. And there's no way that people can tamper with it. If there is any difference in that hashing string, everybody would know that they don't have the same content that everybody else has. I think we've got an opportunity to create some very powerful community alternatives to centralized messaging, like social media, like email, like all these different constructs. So this is part of the power of what we're talking about. Now I'm going to switch over to just a single frame, and I'm going to quit the PubSub in this particular node, and I'm going to show you how you can connect using a human-friendly identifier that's stored. This becomes like your contact list. So here we're using the dial 1-833 Hollywood, and we're going to connect to the other peer, and voila, you can see that we have connected to this machine-friendly address, which is a peer ID, but we have used a human-friendly address, which is the dial 1-833 Hollywood. And now let's take a look at the file that created this, which you can create in your directory. We can create all these human-friendly subfiles that have a bash script. And here you can see the file where we're creating the content and storing the content on a daily basis. But this is the file that creates the peer connection. And let's go down to let's open up that file and see what's in it. And so when we open that file, you can see it's a very simple file that you can trust, where we've created a bash script that's doing what we've had to do in the past, which is put in this very long, very unfriendly human identifier. So this is what you create and submit a pull request in the PhoneWord Workshops GitHub account, and this opens up your world to decentralized, cryptographically assured communications in the decentralized web. So I'm going to stop the screen sharing there, because that basically shows the three functions that we talked about. And I'll just open it up. Randy, do you have any questions? This is actually the first time that I believe you've seen this ability to capture content in the PubSub messaging. And hopefully that's a decent example of how to explain it.
Yeah, I like that explanation that this is off network, off anybody else's ability to capture detail unless they have the absolute secure connection through that public key. I like that. That's a good explanation.
It's using a public key. This is also outside of any kind of advertising tracking, any kind of monitoring, any of that. So, you know, if you're used to communicating like I am, where I'll send a text message or I'll send an email or do a search, whatever, and then the next thing you know, I start getting all these advertisements and pop-ups on different, you know, things that someone would infer that I'm interested in. This is outside of all that tracking. So we're just starting to experiment with this. This is still in a prototype phase, and we're working out some of the details, but this is an opportunity for everybody that was in HackFS, or if you are a Desert Blockchain citizen, this is your opportunity to get in on the ground floor of this and start to experiment with the decentralized Web 3.0. So I'm going to do a little more screen sharing with the presentation and we'll finish the workshop for today. So hang on. So we just did the demonstration. We showed how peers can connect using a human-friendly identifier. We showed how you can subscribe to PubSub topics. And when you create your own listing, you can actually start your own PubSub topics and start to create your own community that's communicating on those PubSub topics using your PhoneWord Workshops global directory listing. We also showed how the connection list works. And this opens up opportunities to create things, listings like 1111 Ethereum, 1111 Protocol Labs, 1000 Filecoin, 9999 Textile, and whatever your imagination can come up with. So we have an invitation outstanding to HackFS participants, and this also extends to Desert Blockchain citizens, where you can request your listings, such as 1111 your name or 9999 your phrase, and submit a pull request to the GitHub PhoneWord Workshops.com repository. You should follow us on Twitter, because we'll be having these workshops on a weekly basis every Thursday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. We're also extending an invitation to HackFS sponsors, where you can become some of the first registrars to create human-friendly services that assist people with using the decentralized web. And you can contact me for more information on that. And again, you can follow us on Twitter to get more information as these programs develop. So with the PhoneWord Workshops global directory, you can connect the way you want to connect. You can follow us on PubSub with our identifier, our listing, which is 1111 PhoneWord Workshops, and just send a message on PubSub saying, I have a question, and we'll get back to you. So this is your way to join the decentralized Web 3.0 and open up a whole new world of decentralized communications and connection and presence. So join us. I'm going to stop the screen share. All right, that's basically it for our first workshop. We'll go into more details next week in the following weeks, and we'll show you how you can participate in this. And there is a marketplace for the listings. So if you can come up with something that you think others would be interested in, you have the option to develop it yourself or put it up immediately for sale and encourage others to participate using the phrase that you think has potential for market applications and use case applications. So that's basically it. Unless you have any questions, Randy, or comments, we'll call it a day, and look forward to people joining us next Thursday, which is August the 20th, again at noon Eastern and 9 a.m. Pacific. And you can find out the meetup information on our Twitter at phone_workshops. So anything you can think of, Randy?
Oh, no, that's it. Good.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. Look forward to you participating in the decentralized Web 3.0. Goodbye.